It's not the homes, the surroundings, or the shops that impress you, but the people who tug at your heart. It's a community filled with families that have been here many years, proud to be Americans, but raising their children with Mexican traditions and old world values. Perhaps that's what makes them seem different. People like Roberto Lobato, he came here from Mexico at the age of 18, raised his family in the barrio, and is very happy here.
Everybody worry about the things that we need and forget about the most important. We give love to the children. Most important, it is love each other, respect each other.
It's a sentiment heard throughout the barrio. Love each other, help each other. That's what they do. It's a very religious community. They enjoy life and each other. Rather than material things, they place a tremendous emphasis on the family.
También los soldados se burlaban de Jesús y acercándose a él.
Father Richard Brown has been at Our Lady of Guadalupe for 17 years, and he says there's nowhere else he'd rather be.
I love it. It's my whole life. I've often thought, where would I want to be as a priest? And this is the place where I'd love to be, and I want to be. I love it. Because every breath you take down here and everything you say means a lot.
There are overwhelming problems here. Drugs, gangs, poverty, overcrowded living conditions. And unfortunately, it's the problems that receive the most outside attention. The people who live here often get overlooked.
You'll find the most wonderful people in the world living here. If people would come down and see it, visit the churches, visit, for example, the Barrio Youth Center, get to know the families, it'd really change their opinion of this area of town.
The barrio, after all, does not have the corner on drugs and gangs. Lifetime resident Laura Rodriguez says, we have our problems, so does everyone else.
You have a lot of crime in everywhere else, and I mean serious crime, not like here. You know, I'm never afraid to go out at night here, ever. I'm never afraid. We've never had a woman kidnapped, raped. The most that can happen to you is they'll grab your purse and run.
However you perceive them, serious problems do exist here, but so does a neighborhood full of people who care for each other. Like Laura, without her efforts, the Chicano Community Clinic wouldn't be here. And this is where most of the barrio turns for help. Just like a shortage of housing and opportunity, there's a shortage of doctors in the neighborhood. It seems the only thing they aren't short on is love. But perhaps all they have is each other. Many feel that as a community, they're treated like second-class citizens. In the 1950s, Interstate 5 went through the barrio and cut it in half, east and west. In the 1960s, the Coronado Bridge was built and cut it in half again, north and south. No community can withstand that kind of division. But the colorful pillars of Chicano Park are at least their way of trying to make something positive out of what actually destroyed their neighborhood and left many bitter feelings behind.
Well, we were really forced out of the area because we had to sell. The freeway took our house, so we had to sell our house.
Yeah. They didn't give you any choice?
They say they did, but, you know, not really. You had to sell, you had to sell.
When they put the freeway, they didn't bother to ask the community at all. And when they put that Coronado Bridge, they never did bother to ask the community either.
Mike's family has had this grocery here since 1920, and his attitude is indicative of some of the bitterness felt here. You know, Barrio Logan is a coastal community, but it's been kept from having coastal access for 40 years. Although they have a site chosen, they're still fighting for a park. And although park proposals have been on the table for some time, there are a lot of meetings, but very little action. Mike says that's nothing new. Change comes slowly to the barrio because he says the city doesn't care.
The only time the city will listen to you if you're wealthy enough. You know, if your name is Copley, if your name is Croc.
But some changes have come. 15 years ago, this community center wasn't here. Now the kids have a place to go for help, for counseling, or play, or just to get off the streets. They are fighting here not only to overcome their problems, but overcome a reputation, hoping that eventually San Diego will see the barrio for what it really is, for what's most important.
It's had not a really good reputation for many, many years, but that's because people don't realize how the people are that live here. When you live here and know the people and know how wonderful they are, and that they are really good family people, then you begin to see that it's a very wonderful place to live.